What's good, guys? Your boy Hugo the Savage back again for another TV show review. We've got another Marvel one. You already know I'm a fan of it. We have She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Goddamn, let's get it. She-Hulk episode 1. I think this episode was called A Normal Amount of Rage. So let's get straight into this. I don't want to be here for too long. Let's address some stuff straight away off the bat. Should we go negatives first so we can finish on a nice positive? And to be fair, you'll be surprised there wasn't as many negatives, considering how the trailer went down to a lot of people. I was included, but mine was really the CGI. So let's get it. So the CGI in this was listen, it was a good standard of CGI. Listen, I've learned more and more things over the time. I try not to get too much involved in rumours and news and stuff like that, but it seems like there's a issue going on with Marvel and the CGI and the budget and stuff like that. And I know this is a TV show; it's not a movie. I think what happens is you end up being due to their own high standards, you get a bit picky about certain things because they set the bar very high. But what I did is when I went back through the Disney Plus shows and picked out which ones was like, our CGI is great in this. Some of them wasn't required to have too much CGI, only on certain scenes, and then the ones what I thought were incredible, I realized that it's the way the toning of the show is like WandaVision. The toning of the show is set on like sitcoms, so realistically they didn't have to go all out on it. It was, you know what I'm saying, but I thought it was good for the best parts. I mean, for the most part it was good. A few like iffy bits which I did find hard to ignore at the beginning, but once the story started rolling on and I got into it and I saw the characters, I was like, okay, this is great. I did realise what my problem was with how she looks now, and it was basically that for Hulk, he's a man, so he's got like, there's going to be more textures when it comes to like beard and rugged looks, and obviously women take care of themselves more than men for the best part of it, so she's gonna go for like, it's a lady, so she's gonna be all smooth everywhere in it, but it allows for not much detail to be put into the skin, because why would she? She's almost like everything's enhanced once she turns into the Hulk. I mean, everything's enhanced. So I get it now. So what that happens is it just ends up looking like a full green slate, which is the problem. And I kind of compared it to Princess Fiona of Shrek before, but I think I'll probably take that back. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. And once the story started, I was in it. Now, let's get into the story. So, there are obviously going to be spoilers. It's a review, so I'm not expecting you to watch this. And, you know what I mean? I'm not going to try and give too much away. But, basically, the program starts off with a retrospect. So, she breaks the fourth wall pretty fast. On the trailers, it looks like they've discovered it in a certain scene that they can break the fourth wall. But, no, she purposely does it straight away. Because the first scene is her talking about... it sounds like she's talking about going against two superheroes, and she's an attorney working against them as like a defense lawyer. No, as a prosecutor towards people with superpowers. And then she says, you won't really get through this program without finding out where I've come from and how it all started. So she goes for the origin stories, which is, you guys probably picked up this anyway. Her and Bruce go out, there's a car crash. She cuts herself, and Bruce is bleeding as well. His blood drips into her. It's almost like a blood transfusion, coincidentally, and then, yeah, she hulks up straight away. The issues I had with that was, I think the pacing of this show, this first episode, wasn't very good. If a lot of things felt really rushed, which, you know, it could be just me. I mean, it is based on like, I think it's supposed to be a comedy, so I'll take that. And the retrospect was her giving the origin stories in about 5 to 10 minutes. So there was a 38-minute program, and obviously 4 of the minutes are like title scenes and ending scenes and stuff like that. But I struggle with the pacing a lot because I like to sit with stuff for a little bit and then go into it. Makes you feel more like with the character and invested in the character. But I will say, the lady playing Hulk, I don't want to botch her name, but she's incredible. Like, she's very likable. She can act. She's got good comedic, like her timing's pretty well. Now, some of the jokes didn't hit, but I think that's just because whoever wrote the jokes ain't that funny. I didn't like some of the Hulk jokes as well. Like, it felt a bit cheesy. It gave me a feeling of like 90s Lois Lane versus Superman. No, Superman and Lois Lane. If anyone remembers that from like '95, I think the main lady's name, played Lois? You know, the woman who's in Desperate Housewives. It's Terry something. Don't want to botch her name either, but gave me that kind of feeling. Obviously updated, and it's 2022, so it's going to be a lot better. I'll give you this. If you're one of these new age people, it's crept up in the last couple of years, and I see why, because there's two extremes to it. You're either like extremely woke now, or you're extremely against anything what's for injustice. So then there's just two ends of the spectrum. And if you're on the end of the spectrum, what you think everything's woke, and you're fed up of seeing female lead characters or people's race being changed in superhero comics and stuff, or changing their sexuality, and if you're one of those people, but and it really affects you, not if it just bothers you, if it really affects you, She-Hulk ain't for you. But I would defend Marvel on this anyway. I read the comics of She-Hulk. I was a massive fan of the cartoon. I think the cartoon came out in the 80s, like late 80s, but I watched it when I was like 4, so around 94 times. The one where like She-Hulk, she's quite flirty and she's quite flirty even with Bruce, which is weird if you go back and watch that cartoon. But I used to fancy her as a kid, innit? So if anyone remembers that, she was a strong female character. She was stronger than most people anyway. So there's a part in this where her and Hulk are not agreeing, because he's basically saying to her, your life's going to change. You can't go back to being an attorney. And she's got that inner battle with her now, like, no, I want to go back and be an attorney. And then when they're trying to talk about what makes her angry and stuff, she kind of alluded to it's men. Now, I don't mind that at all. I just don't want it to be ultra focused on the only thing what makes her mad is men, because surely there's other stuff. You know what I mean? But at the same time, she did make valid points that she's not allowed to express her anger like a man is in day-to-day society, which is true. It's, you know what I mean? Because you get called emotional if you're a woman and all that stuff, and if you're a man, you just fight someone, innit? So, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like I said, she's great. Hulk was good in this. Seems like I don't know. It's probably an Easter egg for something, but the reason why they crash in the first place is because a Sakaar spaceship comes down in front of their car, and then it crashes. Which obviously Hulk spent 2 years on Sakaar with the Grandmaster. So he said at the time, I feel like they was trying to send me a message, and I'm thinking that might set up World War Hulk. We don't have anything on the timeline saying World War Hulk, but it feels like it, or it might just lead to Secret Wars and have something to do with that. But for the most part, I found it great. Like I said, CGI sketchy here and then. Things were a bit rushed. They didn't spend much time on her training to become. She kind of picked everything up straight away, which I didn't like. And that's not because it's her. You know, like if you watch, it's almost like if you watch Spider-Man, and he just picked up using the web straight away, like in like a minute. It wouldn't feel great. You need to, you know what I mean? And I needed some more risk to her training. Like, you can kill yourself if you don't do this properly and stuff like that. Felt like they rushed everything, but I'm sure there's only going to be around 6 episodes, probably maybe a few more, and it's hard to do that. So I do give them grace in that, and it's not their fault. You know what I mean? It's life. But I enjoyed it. I think for a lot of the negatives, it might just be down to people's personal preference, but you know, when she changed into the Hulk, not for the first time, because basically she ran off away from Bruce, and then when she ended up at a bar, you know, there's always a cliche bar, like in I think in Captain Marvel, she goes to it's outside Blockbuster, but you know, like the Terminator kind of bar, there's always a bar where you go into, and you know, if it's a female character, there's going to be some bikers or something trying to approach her, and that's what happened. She goes in, some girls help her out in the bathroom, try to help her out because she looked all torn up and her clothes are tore up, and then some guys approach her while she's waiting for her to get in contact with Bruce outside, and then, you know, let me speak to you, honey, hey, I'm just trying to speak to you, all of that business, and then she hulks up and scares the shit out of him and gets speared by Hulk, and he helps her out there. But people are going to say, oh, it's woke because she scared the men, and no, this is the one character that I'm not jumping on board with people saying it's woke. Go and read the comics. Do your own research before you start saying that people have changed it to be this. She's literally called She-Hulk. If Hulk's the strongest Avenger in terms of strength, then of course she's going to be strong. And a lot of the time in the cartoon, she was better than Bruce, which is kind of alluded to in this already. That they had a fight. It ended up as a stalemate. It looked like she was going to lose, and then she kind of done some thunderwave, shockwave thing by clapping and brought him down to his knees, to be honest. So, and then obviously she can control going in and out of the Hulk, whereas he had to, at the beginning of this, he was regular Bruce because he made some kind of thing what helps him go in and out of it. Obviously, it got crushed in the car crash. But yeah, I liked it. I've had fun with it. I'm gonna leave the review there. I will say, like I said, pacing, and I think there's a few details I tried to like put in there what I didn't think they needed to, because then it makes you ask questions, and you know what I mean. There's a few things where he alluded to the blip and what him and Tony was doing, and Tony built him a bar, and Tony built him this, and I'm like, we had no recollection of this in Infinity War, Endgame, or anything like that. No recollection. Obviously, they turned up together in Infinity War. Was it Tony Stark, Bruce, and Doctor Strange? But then again, you're thinking, well, no. I don't know. It's to do with the blip, and so the blip's after the end of Infinity War. Was at the end of Infinity War. So for the 5 years, okay, you and Bruce, you and Tony done all this stuff, but you never told us on it. You never alluded to it at all. You never alluded to having a cousin Jennifer. We all thought you was lonely, and the only person you loved was Black Widow. She mentions Captain America a lot, but she fancies him, and he's a hero, so I like that part. There is a post-credit scene where we kind of find out that Captain America, after all this, wasn't a virgin, which is quite funny. I think that's fan service, because, you know, everyone mentioned that for a long time. But yeah, leave it there. Titania was in it for about a minute. She hulked up in the courtroom to take her out. She did nothing, by the way, so hopefully they do something else happens after this. But yeah, man. I've been your boy Good Savage. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you think of She-Hulk in the comment section. Listen, come here. If you come to this and you see the beginning of this video, go and watch She-Hulk first, then come back and let me know your comments. Don't start, you know what I mean, saying all these different negative stuff or whatever until you've watched it. Come on, give it a chance, innit? Run.